People often think that they need acres of land in order to grow their own food. But what if I told you that a quarter acre is more than sufficient? Today we are touring our food forest here in Central Florida, Zone 9B. I'm going to share with you some of the trees that we have growing, some of the ones that survived the frost, some of the ones that didn't, and I'm going to show you how to maximize the space that you have so you can grow an abundance of food. Let's dig in. Hi, I'm Christina, and this is Forever Food Forest, a channel where I explore ways of growing food without the use of herbicides, pesticides, or synthetic fertilizers. Spring reminds us of new beginnings. And also in this video, I'm going to show you the transformation our food forest is experiencing this season. If you watch this channel long enough, you know that it's only appropriate to start this tour with the figs. And I'm happy to report that all of them survived. We have over 24 varieties of figs growing here. What we did here is we placed all of our figs along the south-facing wall. So during the day, the walls absorb the heat, and at night, you got some of that residual radiating heat that helped protect the plant. Some of the other things that have survived, we have blueberries. This is the emerald blueberry variety. They are producing right now. It's a high bush variety that was developed by University of Florida specifically to thrive in a high heat climate, and these do not need any chill hours. But of course, some of those chill hours do help. And what a difference 2 weeks makes. Right here we have our figs, which when you saw them last were just coming back to life. But right now they're covered in leaves. I love using fig leaves to wrap fish. It imparts a slightly coconutty flavor. Another thing you can do is also brew the leaves into a tea. This is a persimmon, a fuyu persimmon, and a high chia right over here. Goji berries in this spot. Another fig. Blueberries, figs, and some of my favorites, snapdragons, and even a grapefruit, all in this area right over here. Brogdon avocado did not make it. This is a Hass avocado. It's the only one that survived, and that's because it's growing in a pot and we were able to move it out of the Arctic gusts of wind and under a cover, so it did not get affected as much by the cold. I spoke too soon. This avocado tree is coming back. So you might be wondering, how does the HOA allow us to do this? Fun fact, we don't live in an HOA. We're actually one of 30% of Floridians that do not live in a community that is governed by a homeowners association. Yes, they still exist, and if you need help finding one, give me a call. I'll put in my contact info at the end. I'm a licensed real estate agent, but that's not what this video is about. So in this bed right here, last September, October, November, I was planting carrots and cucumbers as well as cilantro and broccoli. I planted a bunch of carrots, purple, white, and red chanterelle varieties. They do so well here for us. When it came to broccoli this year, the varieties that did really well for me were Sun King and broccoli de Chicho. So right here I have some cilantro that has gone to seed. And did you know that cilantro turns into coriander? So you get a 2-for-1 with this herb. This is our berry patch. Yum. So we have multiple varieties of strawberries. That one rotted. You gotta pick them before the rain. That's the key here. Oh, the birds got this one. The birds always get one. Now, over here we have our blueberries. We have emerald variety, farthing. So this is a peach tree. It's Tropic Beauty. This is our second year. It's in the ground. It's raised up a little bit because they do not like being wet. Putting them up in these little raised garden beds helps to let the roots breathe. Now, check this out, guys. If you've been watching my videos, you remember I was freaking out when I was planting these snapdragons, and look, they're finally starting to bloom. It's really nice how it's filling out. Feels like spring. On this side, in these containers, I wanted to do a little flower garden. So we have some black-eyed Susans, some zinnias. This is goldenrod, a Florida native. Evening primrose, which was a surprise because I didn't think any of my seeds had sprouted. We also have a ton of marigolds, calendula, more snapdragons, and the kitty. Now, if you want to grow lots of food, you have to get creative. So we use pretty much any container that we have. So we used a garden bed for some potatoes, and then we also use these 45-gallon pots. This just allows us to grow as many potatoes as possible. These are bunching onions. Okay, so that was 2 weeks ago when I started filming this video, and in that time, this whole area has exploded in color. Also, the rains have been coming in, which helped a lot with the watering, but check this out. We have an explosion of yellow, red, orange snapdragons, as well as beautiful blue tweedia, and the grasshoppers are also coming out of the woodwork. And it looks like it's raining, so we're gonna have to pick this up again next time. Now that the rain has let up a little bit, I'm gonna show you some of the things that we are harvesting right now. We have several pounds of red potatoes. Oh, looks like some of the zinnias are starting to bloom too. This sunflower has really taken off, but there's one thing that I'm really excited to share with you. Look at these. This is the Brandywine variety of tomato. Look at how big and chunky they are. These are gonna be really good. Oh, looks like they got some kind of worm eating inside of them. Can I pick these off?
Yes.
Look. This one, it looks like it has not the blossom end rot. These are good, but this one, I think it's just deformed. They're kind of a deformed variety of tomato. The rain did not help. Don't you just love it when you have a success in the garden? You're like, yes! I have been obsessing over these for the last 6 months. I didn't even know if it was possible to grow them in Florida. Sweet peas, not edible. Oh, the smell. This is the Kingfisher variety. I got them from Uprising Seeds. Just to give you a timeline, I started these all the way back in August. This is my little herb garden corner here. We have some rosemary and some lavender. This is the Spanish Anouk lavender variety. It's the only one that was able to survive the heat. And right in here, I have more echinacea. I love the way echinacea coneflowers look. They also have medicinal properties, which is cool. Same spot 2 weeks later. Look at how beautifully the sweet peas have exploded with color. We have light purple, dark purple, a beautiful crimson. Got another Romanesco broccoli right here starting to form a head. The lettuces are done for the season. They're starting to bolt, so we're gonna collect the seed. And then over here we have tons and tons of strawberries. So over here in this bed we have potatoes and dill. Now we did get a little bit scared during the cold snap. Potato leaves cannot handle freezing temperatures for too long. Another thing that I wanted to save in here is actually a little surprise. I'm making a video about it. Stay tuned, but this is a little spoiler. I have made a hybrid. I call it a Frankenspud. It's a tomato that has been grafted onto potato rootstock. Okay, you're probably wondering what's going on over here, what's growing on. These are pepper stars, hot and bell peppers. Blot peppers, they did really well, especially during the heat. Then we have the Ozark Giant, Lunchbox Red. Those are the small peppers, and then YOLO Wonder and the Mini Bell. Now, let me show you what we got going on right there. So right here we have another peach tree. This is the Florida Prince. We put it in the ground last year and it was doing so well. It just popped up with flowers, and then the frost came and we lost a good variety of the flowers, but we did get some peaches set. So now this bed we just rearranged. We have just planted our tomato starts. Lots of calendula. If you follow companion planting, you know this is a great pest repellent. Some more snapdragons. I went a little overboard this year. Sunflowers. And then interplanted throughout here, I also have some carrots. At one point there were some tomatoes in here. They did not make it through the frost. Poof, but now it's magically 2 weeks later, and look at the sunflower. I swear it was just this big 2 days ago. And look at this, the tomatoes have really taken off now that the days are longer. This one has exploded. The Riesentruba, this is a big producer. Broccoli is still forming heads. Broccoli is very good for you. So this big boy right here is Romanesco broccoli. I was starting those seeds all the way back in August. This one has not produced a crown yet. It's growing in a pot with some sweet peas. Look at how beautiful this is. Okay, in just 2 weeks since I filmed that last segment, this tree has exploded with foliage and the peaches are starting to ripen. Not only that, we have blueberries that are ready for picking. And one last thing, the Romanesco cauliflower is finally forming heads. This is our big salad bed. We have sorrel and Swiss chard. Sorrel is a slightly tart green, wonderful juice and delicious in salads. Right over here we have a raspberry. This spot is very unique because in the summer it's actually protected from the heat by this big oak tree, and then in the spring and fall it gets full sun, so it's an absolute golden zone. You also get a windbreak protection from this fence here. And then right over here is where we have kind of like our makeshift compost pile for all of our high carbon materials. Time for some sad news. The trees that did not make it. Our star fruit was in its, I believe, 4th year of growing in the ground. And it was producing about 25 to 50 fruits. Unfortunately, I don't think it made it through the frost. We've been looking for signs of life. Then we had some bananas over here and they are coming back. And this right here is a Barbados cherry. Now we are seeing signs of life of it coming back from the trunk. Down here, the pomegranates definitely survived. They're coming back beautifully, and maybe finally this is the year they will start producing fruit. This area is also where we recycle a lot of our yard waste. A lot of the bananas that were chopped, they were dropped and used as mulch to add nutrients back into the soil. Right over here is where we had the burro bananas. They produce a lot of thick, short bananas that are very similar to plantains. They're high starch content. Unfortunately, right over here we have another casualty of the frost. This is the mamey sapote. We've been trying to grow this. It was a risk planting it in our zone. You know, we had a few winters that were very mild, so we got too complacent, put it in the ground, and of course the year that the tree finally went in the ground is the year that we got hit with that frost. So it looks like the mamey is not coming back. So in its place, right here we have a Saggio persimmon. It's a sweet variety that's slightly oval. And these are cold tolerant, so they should do really well here in our zone 9B climate, even if we get hit by the frost once again. Now let's talk about bananas. They're coming back, and look at this. We even have a flower. We had about 4 big papaya that we lost. This is a papaya. It's the only one that survived. All the other ones, you know, the next day after the cold snap, they just turned to mush. But this one has little signs of life. This is one that we thought that we lost here, but it's made a comeback. It's a grapevine, and these grapes are so delicious. Flavor is very similar to like a muscadine grape. Very sweet, very flavorful, but last year the raccoons got into them, so we only got to try a few. In this bed I had matsuba, which is Japanese parsley, and tatsoi. Last year we had a bunch of squash growing here. Right now we have more mustard greens as well as a cabbage and some broccoli that I harvested earlier this season. Things have really changed in the last 2 weeks. Look at how big these sunflowers are. We also have some nasturtiums blooming. The mustard has gone to seed and exploded in tons of flowers. Oh! And finally, clusters of grapes are starting to form. How fast things can change. So this area is getting a major makeover. This is a Barbados cherry, which is slowly coming back, but then in this spot we had a bunch of fire spikes and aloe, and right now it's all being ripped out and We're probably going to put a couple garden beds in here. This is the Florida Golden Zone. We want to use it for something really fun. It gets morning sun, afternoon shade. So right here we have some citrus, satsuma tangerine, then we have a grapefruit and a tea plant. Of course, would not be complete without potatoes. Potatoes are one of our favorite things to grow here at Forever Food Forest during the cool season. This is a raspberry, another raspberry that I found as a volunteer. It started from seed, so I saved it, but it's going to be ready to go in the ground here pretty soon. I don't know about you guys, but our mangoes did not fare well in the cold. No matter how much we tried to save ours, unfortunately, it was just too cold for the foliage. We lost a lot of the flowers, a lot of the set fruit. On top of here, we had passion fruit vines, which created a natural shade structure. Unfortunately, the passion fruit did not make it. So luckily, not all is lost. We were able to bring one of the passion fruit vines inside because they were still growing in a pot. Now we just need to give it time. So we do have some good news here. The star fruit lives. It just needed some time. With the first day of spring and arrival of warmer weather, well, technically we had some mild cold snaps, but we do see signs of rejuvenation and revival. The branches are sprouting, which means it's alive. All right, you guys gotta go. You're just hanging out on this rosemary. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to drop a like on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.